All right, we're live on YouTube. This is ZK Club, Foundry number 8. The topic today is privacy first peer-to-peer, open source tools for calls and workshops. The context for this live stream is we're setting the stage for a new program that the ZK Club team is putting together. The Foundry team is launching and announcing a Foundry Workshop program. And this workshop is they're to be conducted online. And the tools that are used for the workshop is going to be what we're discussing today. So rather than using Zoom for your calls, rather than using Microsoft Teams or Google, whatever their thing is, now we have these open source options, we have peer-to-peer options, and if you are worried about your privacy online, or you're worried about the privacy of your team or your family or your community when you're doing these public calls or private calls, then we want to make sure that you know what the options are and what the limitations are. Also what some of the risks are when it comes to using a centralized and proprietary platform like Zoom. So that's what we're here today to discuss. We have our full Foundry team and one of our advisors here on the call with us. I want to start by thanking Zcash Community Grants. ZK Club Foundry is funded by Zcash Community Grants, and we're really grateful for that. It's been a great year so far, and now we're getting to like the topics and the tools that I've been getting requests for as a live streamer for a long time. Live streaming the old ZCons. ZCon 2 was on, we used Zoom to do that actually, and so back in 2021, we were getting requests for like, why are you using Zoom? These questions come up all the time when you work in open source and decentralized technology field. So we're excited to talk about this. Today we've got the whole team here. Robmar is producing the live stream coming through VDO.Ninja, which is where we all are gathered. And he's using OBS to push that out to YouTube. We have Roosevelt and Aura, who are the newly crowned co-captains of the ZK Club Foundry Workshops program. And I'm super excited to have them leading this, guiding this ship of the Foundry Workshops. It is going to become a big part of the Foundry program that we're building. This live stream is considered the salon. It's a monthly live stream where we talk about tools and techniques that we use to build communities, audiovisual tools and techniques. And we've covered all sorts of stuff so far in this year. You can look on YouTube and see some of that. I believe that it's also published in the Zcash forum, so that you can check out all the grant details there. And then we have Squirrel. We have zkSquirrel here, who is one of our advisors, and we're super happy and grateful that Squirrel can join us. He also leads the ZEC Hub community, so this topic is probably very interesting to Squirrel as well. So let's go around the table and do quick introductions for yourselves. Roosevelt, you want to start? How are you today?
Ladies first.
Of course, claro que sí.
Hi everyone, I'm so excited today because the Foundry is so good and the new announcements are the best. Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you, Aura. Muchas gracias.
Yeah, I'm happy too, Ryan. It's very exciting. It's a great responsibility. I'm happy to push more the education, and I'm here in the community to help. I remember 3 years ago when I get here and I didn't understand nothing about Zcash, and today we can help people to improve, to share, to teach, and I'm happy for that. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. I'm really happy to have you here as well. It's an honor every time you join us. Squirrel, how are you?
Doing great, thank you. Happy to be in this session. And yeah, open source tools that we can use for workshops, educational workshops, super important. And so, yeah, today I hope to take everyone through Free to Z which also supports Zcash donations and other cool things to look forward to.
Nice. Thanks for joining us. I really appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to the free to Z overview, because free to Z is one of the platforms that you can use to do these workshops that we're talking about. It supports all of the different features that are necessary. So, Robmar, ¿cómo estás?
Hi. Very happy to the workshop, to the Foundry, to the work, to the team. I happy, and very important to session today in the community, in the work, in the future to the ZKAV Club. I happy.
Awesome. We have a happy team to talk about a very exciting topic, a very important topic. And it's like open source to all of us is an important topic. And peer-to-peer tools are all an important topic as well. Audiovisual is the umbrella that brings us all together. That's the niche that we talk about these tools to be used in. And it all kind of comes together in video calls. Now, like this is live streaming. It's live streaming in a way that is like fully interactive. It's not just like broadcasting out, like we talked about broadcasting in previous sessions of Foundry, but this is something that we all use almost daily, if not daily. I mean, people do video calls using FaceTime, using all of these different kinds of apps that use servers in between. They aren't encrypted end to end, and we have no idea what they're actually doing with the videos that we're sharing with our family, with our companies, with our communities. So we have tools because open source developers have built the tools and shared their code, and they are tools that allow for end-to-end encrypted peer-to-peer video calling. Peer-to-peer in some cases, there are limitations there. So it's a topic that we're all very passionate and excited about. Before I get carried away and we actually start getting into the topic, let's talk about the tech stack for what we're doing today. We're running VDO.Ninja, which is what we'll talk about as one of the options to have video calls. We've been using VDO.Ninja for a lot of our calls. We've tested all of these different applications we're going to talk about, but VDO.Ninja allows for production specifically. So it stands out in that regard, and that's why we're using it for producing Foundry right now. The other piece of this is Open Broadcast Project, OBS, which is what Robmar is running, and he's taking the stream from VDO.Ninja and sending it out to YouTube. VDO.Ninja is peer-to-peer. It's considered mesh peer-to-peer, mesh video, which we'll talk about as one of the different options. And it has limitations. Those limitations don't affect us, but it also has an option to use a server instead of peer-to-peer mode. So we did the last session of Foundry in peer-to-peer mode. There were kind of ironically some audio issues because like we were talking about audio, and then there started to be some audio issues because the way that the audio and video was being compressed on the way to Robmar, it drops the audio out if the bandwidth becomes congested. So I flipped on the server mode, which uses something called Meshcast, and I have more information on that later. And this should resolve those issues. So we'll see how it works. But that's the stack we're working with. It's all free open source software, and that's super cool and important. House rules, code of conduct applies. We have a code of conduct that's posted on free2Z, free2z.com/zkav.club. I'll pull it up right now. And the code of conduct hasn't actually been updated for a long time, but it keeps coming up in conversations with me lately. So we're going to update it, but in the meantime, I'm going to find it and share it with you. So while I'm doing that, actually, I'll get back to that. We have news and updates. Like I want to keep on the schedule, keep on the agenda. We've got news and updates from ZKAV Club. The big one, the big announcement that went out earlier today is that our zkAV Club Foundry Workshops program has two new co-captains who are here with us. Aura and Roosevelt have accepted this co-captain position, and they will be contacting the workshop applicants who have already applied and following through with them, making sure that they have everything that they need in order to produce a great workshop, and that the workshop leaders know what they need to produce in order to get paid for their Foundry workshop. I couldn't be more excited. So, yeah, Roosevelt, Ora, can you tell us a little bit about how do you see the workshop program going forward? It was your idea to begin with, and now what's your vision for where we'll be, let's say in December?
Yeah, it's very interesting because people respond. People respond to our call. We have a lot of workshops to see. It's very interesting to see people sharing that they know that they use. Is very important. I think that this idea, this crazy idea, Ryan, crazy but powerful, push the people to be more concerned about how community is. Okay, we are ready. Aura and I have all the flow to work with the people, and we are happy and very curious and expecting to see the whole workshops. From here to December will be, we have 30 applications. We expect more, and maybe in 2026 we're going to push to support more workshops, I hope. But it's very interesting.
Yeah, I'm so excited too. And this new flow or workflow is for helping the people in the community and teach more and more and learn more and more too.
Yeah, it will. I think it's going to end up it's sort of an exponential thing once it catches on. When we start releasing these workshops, we've already, as a team, as individuals in a team, we've already started to share some of these workshops, to create some of these workshops. We have two more coming up. On Monday, Roosevelt is doing a workshop. He's leading a workshop in Spanish, and that will be about Kdenlive and how to edit your first video with Kdenlive. We do have a heavy preference for open source software and open source tools here. So if you're doing something like a video editing workshop, then we're definitely going to encourage you to do it with Kdenlive. We are looking for beginner-friendly style workshops where people can join and they feel comfortable asking questions or learning along with you. So keeping it simple is going to be key here, and I'm really excited to see what Roosevelt does on Monday. It's going to be a good one. This is, I think, the second or third workshop that you've done, Roosevelt.
Ryan, the next Monday, I will be a lab rat in a good sense, but I'm happy. I'm happy to teach with example. Okay, in a live activities, that something can be wrong, a chord, a micro can fail, the nervous, maybe we know the content, but maybe we forget something. This is normal, and precisely what we want is people know that count with us, and we can support, and it's normal to share in the communities, and if we fail, is opportunity to learn more and to go ahead, and that's is important to be here for the people, for the community.
Yeah, definitely. It's a no-fail environment, really. There are cases where you might not get paid for the workshop if you fail to record it. This is one thing that we've talked about with the workshops program. But as far as making a workshop and trying to look like you know everything about what you're doing the workshop on, that's not really what we're going for here. Like, we all are learning all of this stuff as well. A lot of times we play with brand new technology, and like, this beginner's mindset is really important when approaching this stuff. So if you don't understand exactly what you're doing and you're just working through it yourself, but you understand what you're trying to do and you get a few friends on the call and you work through it together, this is exactly the kind of workshop that we're looking for. It doesn't need to be huge. Other people do need to be there and to join in with video if they want, and with voice. This is why we're talking about these calling apps today. So it is a very open and free working and learning environment. I think that we're creating, and it will be exponential learning. I think it's pretty cool, and I am excited to make this announcement of our new co-captains of the workshop program and the workshops that are coming up. Workshop applicants will be contacted next week, and the workshops will start at some point, probably within the next 2 weeks. I'm thinking a target was to start on October 1st, so we're right on schedule with that. If you don't follow us on X, then you can find us on x.com/zkav_club. YouTube, it's the same username, zkav_club. We're also on Blue Sky. You can check us out there. So quick shout out to that. The information for the workshops is all on the audience guide, which you can find in the description on YouTube. It's also posted on X. You can click through and get into the CryptPad document that we've written up with full links to how to do a community workshop, how to apply for a community workshop in English, Spanish, and Portuguese. If we want to add if you want another language added to these guidelines, then just contact us. Let us know, and you can send us a translation of that, and we can get that up on the website. Or you can do a pull request into GitHub. Our website is actually hosted on GitHub. You can find the link at the bottom. So we have the show notes here, which I just scrolled all the way to the bottom for no reason. And that's edit your first video with Kdenlive in Spanish. That'll be on YouTube and on Free2Z. Also, Free2Z, you can search for Roosevelt. I thought that I had his link here, but Roosevelt, your username on Free2Z, Gordones TV.
Yeah, Gordones TV on Free2Z or in Luma. Let me share by DM the link.
Yeah, cool.
Okay.
You put it in the YouTube, please. Your Free2Z would be great in there. And then on the following Tuesday, on September 30th, I am leading a workshop on speech-to-text transcription. This is not necessarily using open source tools. It's using all of the latest AI stuff that I could track down and test. There's a lot of cloud-based stuff. And then we'll be talking about locally hosted stuff. You can install some of these tools locally. Some of it's built into video editing software. So Premiere, DaVinci Resolve, both of these have the option to do transcription. Kdenlive has an option to do a plugin which installs Whisper, and the other option is Vosk. So if you want to install Whisper on your system, you can actually do that, and we'll talk about that too, and some of the dangers, fears associated with installing something by OpenAI on your computer, or the issue of uploading something like a video to a cloud server. Like, there's different privacy concerns here, and we'll discuss that on September 30th. And I'll run through the different options and some of the research I did. I'm also going to be sharing my notes within the next few days on the transcription stuff so that people can get involved and start playing with it themselves before the workshop happens. And we'll be using content that was recorded at the DWeb camp in Brazil 2 years ago in 2023. And these recordings are in English, Spanish, and most of them in Portuguese. So I'm hoping that we can get some different people to test the different languages with our different options. That's kind of the spirit of the workshop that I'm looking for, is to get folks to like play with the stuff before and during the workshop. So we'll see if it works. Again, like I'm learning about a lot of this stuff while doing the workshop and leading up to it. So there's definitely like learning happening on all sides. It's really cool. It's a lot of fun. And transcription is very important. It's very, very important in releasing videos online nowadays. So more news. We have a recording station announcement to make. The official announcement will be out soon. But right here, I'm going to just announce that, that we're going to be at Dark Prague in October 3rd through 5th. And we're going to have a recording station there. We did the recording station concept. We tested it. We fire tested it, like battle tested during Berlin Blockchain Week. It was intense. It was 5 different events in 2 weeks. Some of the events like DAppCon was 3 days long. So Squirrel was there. Squirrel was there, and Robmar was there. And Squirrel will also be joining at Dark Prague. So, like, Squirrel, what do you feel about what are your feelings about Dark Prague? You excited about this and everything you're up to? Let us know what you're up to, man.
Yeah, very excited. It's taking place, or it's hosted by the Institute of Crypto Anarchy, and yeah, it'll be at, I think the location is called Second Culture. Yeah, so it really feels like more so than some of the events at Berlin Blockchain Week. These are really our people. Like, these are cypherpunks. These are some of the OGs who have been in the space pushing for the right things. And it's just like such an honor, and it's a privilege. And I'm super excited to join the team in setting up the recording station for them.
Yeah, I'm excited that you're going to be there too. This recording station idea is like kind of out there, and it's really weird to set up this kind of studio in the vibes and the atmosphere of the event that's happening around us, and especially with something like this, because like you said, this is Cypherpunk roots. This event is based on the Hackers Congress of Parallelly Polis, which is one of the first real like cypherpunk events that came out of like the Bitcoin movement, and I think it goes back to 2015 around there. So last year was the last year that they did that. It was the final year of Hackers Congress of Parallelly Polis. Roosevelt and Aura were able to go there and to catch that. So do you want to tell us a little bit about what your experience was like last year and it being the final year of the event?
Yeah, the last year I didn't expect nothing, because Hacker Congress, what is that? It was totally new for us, but it's amazing. The place, the people is amazing. The topics is very important. Prague is a very small city in Europe, okay? And I think that in that place is building great things for the whole privacy community, and it's very important to read, to be, and people can be there. Go there, because it's very important, I think.
And the place, it's amazing. The people, it's so kind in there. And for me, the experience in Parallel Police, now second culture, was the maximum in my life. Is recommend.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm expecting a lot of the same vibes. It will be smaller this year. They're not using the whole venue. The second culture spot, the Institute for Crypto Anarchy, is connected to something called La Factoria, and or something, right? And that building was not available. They didn't book it this year. So I'm excited to see what the venue is going to look like. I was at the Hackers Congress back in 2017 and 2018, which is actually what served as the inspiration for the recording station. That year, Thomas Hunt and I, he's from World Crypto Network. He created World Crypto Network, and he and I we attended Hackers Congress at Parallel Polis, and we attacked it with our cameras, and we took over a couch, and we were just inviting everyone around to come and talk to us. Tom is an incredible host, and we did full day live streams each day. You can find these on the World Crypto Network YouTube channel. If you go to their podcast tab there, he broke them up into individual conversations, but that was full, like 8 to 10 hour live streams each day. We won't be doing that. This served as the inspiration for the recording station, and one of those inspirations was to not try to do full day live streams. We'll be recording and we'll be releasing after the fact, partially because of privacy. Like, privacy is a concern. Squirrel mentioned that this is really our tribe that we're going to meet with at Dark Prague, and it's true. The ZK in the ZK AV Club comes from the zero knowledge cryptography world, which is all about privacy and privacy of personal information and encryption. So it is definitely sort of a homecoming vibe that's going on, and I was just totally elated, totally honored to be invited. After we reached out, they were open to the idea of the recording station, and now it's going to happen. So more on that as it comes close. So we're 2 weeks off now. October 3rd is when it'll start. Things are in motion. Things move fast here with our ZK AV Club recording station. So watch for news on that coming up in the next few days. Once again, before we move on to the main topic, community-led workshops are open. These are workshops that focus on different tools and techniques used in audiovisual content creation. That specifically, we're looking for stuff that you can use to help grow your community. That's really the purpose of the content that we're helping to educate people to use. This is why we focus on open source and free software, and this is why we're here today to talk about open source calling apps.
Totally, Ryan. Maybe open source is new for some people that maybe they think this open source is Linux, that is only for hackers or for geeks. Open source is very powerful, is very important, and have a lot of presence on our technology world. People need to know more open source.
Absolutely. And let's, in case I made the assumption that people know what we're talking about when we mention open source software, free and open source software. It's free as in free speech, not necessarily free as in free pizza. So that's the first thing to point out. It's often called libre software. For that purpose, it's a more clear term. So open source means that the source code in the software sense, the source code is open and available. This comes with 4 essential freedoms: the freedom to run the program, the freedom to share the program, the freedom to remix the program, to edit and change, and let's see, what's the 4th? To read and learn from the source code. So you can run it, you can share it, you can remix it, and you can actually read the source code. Now, we apply this to audiovisual content creation. So how does that apply? Well, it's the same thing. You have the freedom to run it, you have the freedom to watch it, you have the freedom to share it. We distribute all the stuff under Creative Commons, share alike. We'll be talking about licensing more as the year goes on. You have the freedom to remix it. You can edit it. You can do what you want as long as you distribute it with attribution. And and then we'll publish the source material for as much as we can safely, and as much as we actually capture from Recording Station and from Foundry. We're live streaming this, so you're watching the source material right now. So that's what those are the 4 essential freedoms of the free software movement. And open source in this context of calling apps is important because you use these applications. We all use these applications to talk to each other, to talk to our loved ones, to talk to our colleagues, to talk to our bosses and employees. So if you're not running open source software in your calls, then you don't know what's happening to the video between all of you. It's sent to a server that is all in a closed black box, and then it's sent off to each of the people you're calling to. So the purpose of the conversation today is to talk about some of the options that are open source. So these have big communities behind them. All of the projects we're talking about, they have big communities of developers who are reading through the code because they can. They're able to remix it. You can install the software yourself. You can run Jitsi, one of the pieces of software we'll talk about. You can run it on your own server, and some of it you don't need a server. Some of it is just peer-to-peer. So that is open source, the importance of open source, and are there other concerns with Zoom other than the fact that it's like centralized and open source? I don't know. I'm sure.
Yeah. I think there's a potential exploit, or there's been a demonstrated exploit where someone who hosts the Zoom call has admin permissions to take control of your computer.
That is terrifying. I have heard about this, and like there's theft of cryptocurrencies that happens this way, but it's also full-on identity theft. If someone gets into your computer with that level of permissions, they have access to all of your files. They have access to your browser history. They have access to the form fields, like sometimes your passwords. It could be just whatever you keep on your computer or your phone, for that matter. So there are definitely exploits. There's 0 days in the softwares. There's vulnerabilities that haven't been discovered yet, and when the wrong person finds them, they don't get properly disclosed. They get exploited. So it's terrifying, really. This is the point of having the source code be open, for sure. One of the really big benefits. So not everything we'll talk about is peer-to-peer. We're going to start off with a piece of peer-to-peer software called MiroTalk, which is really, really cool. And then we're going to go into some of the limitations of peer-to-peer in this sense, in these video calls. And if you want to move beyond those limitations, then you're going to have to get a server involved. So just to be clear, I realize the title of the video, the title of Foundry is peer-to-peer. We will start with peer-to-peer, and then we consider a self-hosted server, so you can install Jitsi on your own server. This is the best that we can do when you have to have a server. So just to be clear about that. But we're going to start with some peer-to-peer software that is really cool. I just learned about it as I was doing research for Foundry, and it's called MiroTalk, or MiroTalk Peer-to-Peer, and it's for smaller calls, and it works peer-to-peer using WebRTC. WebRTC is a piece of technology that sends audio and video from your computer to each person that you're communicating with directly, and each of the people you're communicating with that have their cameras and microphones on are shown to you directly. So the video and audio aren't being passed through a server at all. So that's what we mean when we say peer-to-peer. And MiroTalk is that, and it runs in the browser, so you just go to their website, which is p2p.mirotalk.com, and you can create a new call right there, fully featured, don't have to pay for anything. You generate a name for it, and you join, and like we've been testing this. So, Aura, what was your feeling about MiroTalk?
I like the interface, and I think that is so easy to use, and I think that the application is so serious. I don't know what say that, but the interface is so clean, yeah, serious for me.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Um, Roosevelt, what about you? Do you have what was your feeling?
I really love that we don't have to install nothing. Okay, is important for because I'm thinking in people that have equip a laptop with a little bit of space, don't have enough space, and I can install something more. Well, this MiroTalk is a good option because it's a web browser and it works very well. I think I like.
Cool. Yeah, the point that it runs in a browser is really convenient. It works on mobile and just in your browser, so you don't have to install software. Some people don't like installing software necessarily. Other folks don't trust web browsers. Like web browsers they do have vulnerabilities all their own, and if you have extra plugins installed in your browser, then you may be introducing more vulnerabilities. So there's that kind of security interest or vulnerability options that you might want to be aware of. But yeah, you don't need an account. You don't need you don't have to install a server. There isn't a server involved. Um, it's real simple to create. The interface is very serious. It does have a familiar interface, I think, and it's comfortable for people up to 8 people, I believe, with your cameras and video, with your video and audio on. So if you have more than that, then it's going to start breaking down because of this peer-to-peer nature of it that it's all sending to everyone else. Robmar, you also tested Miro, and you tested some sound, some music with Miro, right? How was that?
Yeah, yeah. And the test is flow to work, and the music and the voice and the meet and the streaming is very good. Only in my computer to the test in the Mulbat browser and the more work to the browser recognize to the cam.
Mm.
The is for security and the view cam is more work. Only
Mm.
only only cam only view to the other tools is very good. MiroTalk is I now is I to platform meet preferred. No one is one to the other platform, and the Roosevelt and I is now to the test other tool. Wow, it's very good, and thank you to the CKV Club for educate in these tools for security, for private, for P2P, for decentralized tool, etc.
For freedom too.
For freedom, yeah, is the work.
Yeah, it's really fun to do the research for these for this session. It was really fun for me, and having the knowledge of what to look for. Like there are so many different calling apps out there, and still everyone. It seems like Zoom is really is really the default. There's a lot of community calls and stuff happening in Discord. Also, like I wouldn't necessarily encourage that. I'd like to see less of that. But in that sense, you go where the community is. In a calling app, that's not always what you need. Sometimes you just need it to work for calling your friends. You know, there's a real peer-to-peer thing, calling your family. So MiroTalk it checks all the boxes as far as being private. It's end-to-end encryption. It runs in your browser. Again, there's some vulnerabilities there potentially, but luckily browsers have a lot of communities looking at them as well, a lot of developers looking at them. So the open source nature is important, the peer-to-peer part is important, and Miro's got it. So if you're looking for something to have your regular calls that you run with your company, with your family, with your community, if you have more than 8 people who join, as long as everyone has their cameras off, except for a few people who are talking, then it should hold up. But if you get too large, then you're going to run into this problem of the mesh. Mesh peer-to-peer in this sense, it means that everyone sends video to everyone. So if any one participant has congestion on their end in their upload or in their download, if it's in their upload, everyone's going to have a problem watching their video and hearing them without some kind of lag or dropping the audio, as we experienced in the last session of Foundry. And so this is one of the limitations of Mesh. And it can be mitigated, it can be resolved for these video calls by running a server-based software. This is called a selective forwarding unit. I have a glossary in the guide here. So we've got Mesh. We've also got the selective forwarding unit, SFU, which forwards streams so that it scales better. And this is actually what we're using for VDO.Ninja today for this live stream. VDO.Ninja is also peer-to-peer. It's a mesh in that sense, and it would normally be broadcasting. We would all be sending to whoever is using OBS to produce the stream and sending it to YouTube. It's Robmar today, and it would normally be sending peer-to-peer, but we ran it in server mode, so VDO.Ninja does have an option to work in server mode, and then it installs this SFU through Meshcast and other mumbo jumbo that I can come up with. It's not really relevant tonight. So the point of this is that you can use Miro for your small calls, your small business calls, or family calls with some confidence that you have privacy and that you have end-to-end encryption and that your video is not being recorded or indexed anywhere. That's another thing, like Zoom and all of these different softwares, a lot of them have AI stuff built in now, which is handy, like it's convenient, but at the same time, like do we want an AI listening in on our personal calls? So Miro doesn't have any of that. It doesn't have any of these fancy features. If you want to record in Miro, you do have to install OBS. You have to install Open Broadcaster and use that to record. Although I did just notice that their website down here at the bottom says it's proudly sponsored by Recall.ai, which is an API for recording Zoom and Google Meet and Teams, Microsoft Teams meetings. So that's interesting. There's no record option in MiroTalk that we could find. Or you know what? Did it have, let's see, ChatGPT. So you can install extra stuff. Yeah, because there's also download options. Like the default that would be recommended would be OBS. And from what I was looking around at, that was the only way to do recording. But we may have missed it. And if it does do recording, because it's peer-to-peer, then it works in the same way that VDO.Ninja does recording, and it records on your local computer, which is super cool. It just downloads in the browser when you're done. So that's another benefit to using some peer-to-peer software instead of the server, is that like you don't have to go download the thing afterwards. But if you need a server, if you have to use a selective forwarding unit because you want to have a bigger call, if you want to have more than 8 people on camera at a time, then you're going to want to use Jitsi. We definitely prefer self-hosting Jitsi. You can go to meet.jit.c. That's JIT.si. You can go there and use Jitsi in their hosted instance. If you're moderating a session, if you're creating a new call, then you have to have an account. And I believe you have to link it to a single sign-on. So it's like a Google account, a Microsoft account, a GitHub, or LinkedIn. these different things. Not really ideal if privacy is your thing in that sense. And you are still trusting that Jitsi is doing what they say they're going to do with recordings or on their servers. So you can self-host. At the end of this guide document, there's a sidebar about self-hosting. We won't necessarily get to that, but you can self-host Jitsi. We definitely recommend it. And Jitsi is like the most commonly used of these, I think, of what we'll talk about today. There's also Brave Talk, which is sort of a branded version of Jitsi. Yeah, Roosevelt.
Ryan, yeah, that's true. Jitsi, maybe Jitsi is more one of all of these tools that we're going to talk. Is Jitsi is one of most popular. I remember in 2020, in the pandemic days, Zoom was very popular. People began to say that there was no privacy, and some world people, strangers, I don't know, can go through their calls, and that was a new panic, knew that some is no privacy. Then they push password. I don't know if is this ciphered. I don't know if it's some what kind of security they have, but I think that from that time to now, there are more tools, P2P tools, privacy tools for calls, because people now understand that it's important. And maybe in a working meeting, they don't want to something come here. Maybe the competitors, I don't know, and it's dangerous. It's dangerous, and people have to understand that it's very important have privacy in their calls too. If, like you say, if it's only to call with your parents, with your pals from the college, you can use Zoom or whatever. But if you want to be serious about care our privacy, maybe we have to think about these tools that we're going to talk today.
Yeah, there were some privacy issues with Zoom during. I mean, Zoom became a big thing during the pandemic. It's really where like that became the standard that people were using for video calls. Jitsi did exist. Jitsi had been around for many years before the COVID pandemic, and it didn't work that great. I think that like Zoom coming out really motivated the devs and the users to get together and work towards making a more stable product. There were issues with it running in a lot of different browsers, and so at that key moment, the Jitsi kind of failed, and it really looked bad for open source software. The open source software movement has this kind of stigma of like never working. And in that case, our solution did not. The free and open solution didn't work for everyone, but it does now because it's open source and because people started working on it. So I definitely recommend trying it out. Try out Jitsi Meet. And Squirrel, what about you? Like, have you used? I know we've had Brave Talk conversations on Brave Talk, and have you used Jitsi in other forms, like on their hosted instance? How does it compare to Zoom to you?
Yeah, Jitsi is a good alternative to Zoom. More and more, I try to avoid Zoom as much as possible. Yeah, because closed source, we don't know which servers the call's going through. As Roosevelt was saying, when Zoom first came out, I think one of the other concerns was that they were using data centers in China or something, and then that eventually got resolved. So yeah, Jitsi is nice. One of the good features about Jitsi is that you can have a dedicated link for a recurring meeting. So even if you don't get like a calendar invite, you can just have a bookmark for your scheduled meeting. And yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah, Jitsi has some great options, and it comes with this reassurance that if you're running it on your own server, especially, because then you're taking the code that is publicly accessible. If you don't read code, you can believe that there are a ton of developers in the Jitsi community, and that's reassurance. That code is going to run on your own server, and it hasn't been changed because you install it yourself. At the bottom of this document, there's like a 5-minute guide to setting it up. So you do have to know a little bit of technical skills or someone who does, and you can self-host Jitsi. You know that the code is not doing something like recording all of your unencrypted video calls on a data center in China or anywhere else. So that's a really big deal for calls. Recording calls, like in the case of the workshop that we're doing, you have to use OBS in this case for Jitsi. I think that the hosted version of Jitsi Meet might have a record option that records. I know Brave Talk has a record option, but they delete the recording after some time. And if you don't copy the link correctly, then when you end the call, your recording might be like lost forever. So I wouldn't recommend using Brave Talk for your workshops, because recordings are an important part of that's how you get paid for the workshops, is the recording. So it can mess up in Brave Talk. I wouldn't recommend doing that. But if you are using Jitsi, you can use OBS to capture the sound and the video from your call, from your workshop, and then you can share that with us. The other option, more advanced option, is to install Jibri, and Jibri will allow you to record on a server. It's also open source software. It runs in parallel with Jitsi, and it will stream to an RTMP server. It will stream to like YouTube, and it will record the call locally as well on your server, on your own server. So open source community came through. They have that. They also have a lobby option in Jitsi, which is helpful if you're doing like a live stream, a conference, for example, a virtual conference. You're going to want a lobby so that people can't just jump into the room. You can put a password on it as well. And this happened a lot when Zoom meetings were first happening during the pandemic, where people would share the invite link in some public way, and then all of a sudden a whole bunch of like trolls or whatever would join the call and start playing like obnoxious or offensive material. So that's why like a lobby and a passcode might be a good idea, and you can do that with Jitsi.
Roosevelt loving Skype.
With Skype?
Roosevelt love Skype.
Oh,
Skype
lover.
Cry, Roosevelt
Skype
is closest.
Skype is the grandpa of all these tools.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. It wasn't leading too much. As soon as as soon as video streaming became more more accessible to everyday people, then the Skype started getting some competition in the privacy space, at least. This is where Signal, which at the time they had 2 different apps, one for text messaging and one for video calling, and they were the first, I think, to do end-to-end encrypted video, and Jitsi was right around the same time. So yeah, you can also do. I think you can do video calls in groups with Signal, which we haven't tested that. But Signal is open source and end-to-end encrypted. I would imagine it's peer-to-peer, but I don't know for sure. So that's an interesting thing that we might want to look at later, is how to actually use Signal to do workshops, if that's possible.
Yeah, in the meet to the equip work in the Zcash en español, use Signal to the no all calls to the meet in the Roosevelt, Aura, Jodita is the equip to the work in the Signal is it's good, not perfect is the problem, but it's good. Audio delay is long. and the audio and video problem no all time is present to problem.
If it has a long audio delay, then I would imagine that there is a server. It seems like these delays don't happen when it's just peer-to-peer. Like MiroTalk, there was no lag. VDO.Ninja, there's no latency.
Yeah.
Cool. So Jitsi is a really good option. We went over kind of some of the preferences, some of the vulnerabilities of Zoom in this regard. All of this applies to Google Meet and Microsoft Teams and Discord. Like the options for how you can do this wrong and in a way that jeopardizes your own privacy and the privacy of the people in your call and the information in your call. Those options are limitless. Like there are countless amounts of software that is not peer-to-peer, that is not open source, that we have no idea what they're doing with it. And there are really limited options, but the options are here. And that's basically like the best that we could find with peer-to-peer was MiroTalk. And then Jitsi is really running with the leader as the leader in the category of like self-hosted open source applications. So yeah, Jitsi's cool. And like you can use Brave Talk and you get a Brave logo up on your broadcast, up on your call. Can't really pay to get that gone, which kind of sucks. Like I wasn't too happy about that. But again, you can self-host. So you can pay for a hosting server. You can pay for a server that you're hosting, and I bet it would be less per month than paying for Brave Talk. But you might need to learn a thing or two about running a server. Since we are talking about workshops, though, I want to make sure that we get a chance to talk about BigBlueButton. And this is software that's specific. It is open source. You can self-host it. It's specifically designed for classrooms and for like schools, universities. It's great for workshops, but there are some tools that aren't necessarily familiar if you're used to regular calling apps, if you're used to Zoom or Jitsi even, or MiroTalk. Like they have some tools. Every so often you get a whiteboard or you can share your screen, but BigBlueButton has some other options. So Aura, what did you think of BigBlueButton?
For me, it's too easy to use, and the interface is good too. And I think that is so easy for the people. The audio is good too. Robmar, what do you think about the audio in BigBlueButton?
Yeah, it's the audio good, and the interface is very friendly. It's very friendly, and the other widget, other tools to the interesting.
Yeah, for me, it's good.
I say that it's corporate style. The interface is corporate, but works fine, I think.
It does feel very institutional. Like it is designed for instructional design, instructional courses. And so there is like the built-in slide deck and there's the sidebar. It almost feels like you're in an Adobe application, like the way that it works. The tools are there though. So if you consider yourself to be an educator and you're leading one of our workshop, the zkAV Club Foundry Workshops, and you find that the tools in these other applications we're talking about, if you find that it's lacking and you're not inspired as an educator to be able to do everything you want to do, then give BigBlueButton a try. The demo is 30 minutes, so it's not quite long enough to do your own workshop, because we're looking for workshops that are more like 60 minutes long. So that's something to consider. If you want to, you either have to pay for the full version of it or install it yourself on your own server, which is definitely what we recommend. You get full access to all of the stuff, and you know that it's running on a server that you control, and that nobody else has the keys to. So you can do your recordings there, you can do all of your teaching there, and it's really powerful. It's very powerful software, but it is heavier to run, and yeah.
Ryan, BigBlueButton is a great example of is open source but not totally free.
Yeah.
That people has to understand that. Okay, open source is not like you say, it's not always free to free to pay, free pixel, like you say, and it's maybe it's for corporates, but works very well with open source on all those stuff.
It is a very important point. The old saying is free as in freedom, or free as in free speech, not as in free beer or free pizza. So that it's an important distinction in the English language. Unfortunately, we only have the one word. That's why we use free and open. I think so. When we say free software, we don't mean you can get it for free necessarily.
Gratis, libre. Es
Sí,
diferente.
sí.
But what you say, Ryan, the demo is a great advantage for the people because the people can prove the tool and now decide what to do.
Yeah, that is. This demo is a very nice feature, and we had fun with it. We used it in a couple of calls. We've been cycling through these and testing them out. So if you want to check out BigBlueButton, then definitely go to their website, which you can find the link in this document. It's bigbluebutton.org. So you can check that out. And I think that we're coming to the end of this main panel discussion about these different softwares. The final one that we wanted to talk about was VDO.Ninja, which is used primarily for production. You can use it for your family calls. It is all peer-to-peer. You go to their website, VDO.Ninja, and you can just create a room. You can share the invite link and get multiple people in. It will start to get a little bit choppy if you have too many cameras on at the same time. It is designed for like production and not necessarily for regular calls, so the interface isn't really familiar. It looks very technical, especially if you're the director, which is what Robmar is showing on the YouTube stream. So that can be kind of a turnoff to people. It gets too technical, it looks too weird. Then use MiroTalk. But if you want to produce a like live stream series like Foundry, or if you want to make a virtual conference or an online meetup, then VDO.Ninja might be the way to go. And you can still have call-ins. All of this different software has different call-in options where you can share different guest links and get people to come on and ask questions for your live Q&A segment. So they all have this audience participation thing. And on the point of online virtual conferences and online meetups, this will be the next topic of Foundry, of ZK AV Club Foundry. That'll be number 9, and it'll be in 4 weeks. We'll be talking about how to produce a virtual conference or an online meetup in using only open source software. So we'll be talking about the stack that we're using specifically now, and then how to stream out to open source and decentralized endpoints. Decentralized in a distributed sense, where you have a federated system, that would be PeerTube, and also decentralized in a peer-to-peer blockchain sense, which would be LivePeer. So we'll be talking about this full end-to-end peer-to-peer open source virtual conference stack next time on Foundry. And that's what VDO.Ninja really shines at. So it's really a lot of fun to use this. We're having a blast with it. So that is all that we're going to cover as far as the software goes. On my screen, if we can see the audience participation stuff, this is just the guide that we have for audience participation. You can do different options. We have outline on how you can do that in the audience guide that's linked in the description. There's a pocket checklist on how you can create a room, do technical checks. Don't forget to enter a lobby with Jitsi, this sort of stuff. Don't forget to record, of course, is super important. So this document lives online, and you'll check it out and read along later when you're studying to do your family calls or your ZKAV club workshops, all of that family call research. Yeah, and then there's some basic tips on accessibility and consent. Make sure you always let people know when you're recording. Some of these applications do have live captions, which is pretty cool. I noticed earlier today that XSpaces also has that, so it's nice to see it in some of the free software options. And then we have a sidebar in this document that it goes into how to install Jitsi and BigBlueButton on your own server. And that brings us to the end of this discussion of these topics, and we'll segue now into the ZEC Hub segment of Foundry. And this it also ties into the workshops, because Free2Z is an excellent option for hosting your workshop, and the workshops are paid for with 200 euros worth of Zcash, ZEC as it's called. And this is thanks to the Zcash Community Grants Committee, who approved the ZKAV Club Foundry grant. And part of that is $8,000 worth of Zcash that goes to the community for various contributions. And some of the contributions are the workshops. So Free2Z is definitely, and we encourage you to use it. You have different options for hosting workshops on there. And Squirrel, you want to tell us more about Free2Z?
Yeah, Free2Z is a very good platform. I definitely recommend head to free2z.cash and check it out. So I suppose in the context of this Foundry session, Free2Z allows you to host calls. And so the platform itself isn't just dedicated to calls. You can do other things. You can post blog articles. You could use it as like a social media type thing where you post images of your day, and like you can scroll through in a different format versus like the blogs which you see on the homepage, exactly like this. And you can so you can host workshops. And one of the cool things about Free2Z is that it has a bunch of features. So you can host your calls or your workshops in different ways. It has different models. So as we've been saying, free and open source doesn't necessarily mean everything's free of charge. And so on Free2Z, you are able to, as a broadcaster, pay a subscription fee in Twosies. So this is the platform currency, I suppose, or platform token, which you can use to fund various things on the site, like promoting posts, but also hosting these streams and these workshops. And so if it's broadcaster paying, it's at a rate of 30 Twosies per viewer hour, and the cost to the viewer is free. If you have a subscribers only stream happening, it's free for both the host and the viewers. And if you have like a pay-per-view model type stream happening, then it's free to host, but each of the viewers have a rate of 30 Twosies per hour. So a lot to get through there, and that's just to get into the call. Once you're in the call, you can do cool things like share your screen. So this is something you'd have on most of the platforms we went through today. There's audio and video. You can have a shared browser. You can do collaborative code editing. There's a whiteboard tool. There's a bunch of emojis. And yeah, it's very powerful. Although I don't know, is it quite open source?
Not entirely. I was reading about this earlier today, and it looks like the developers, the organization, the people who create Dyte Dyte, DYTE.io is the website for the video platform that's running in free2z software. And I found out today that like they're big supporters of open source software, of different repos and institutions. They do a lot of support for NGOs and academia, but the actual software itself is not. So it seems like they open source a lot of their stuff, but what's actually running on free2z is not open source. But it's still like it's really cool, and I kind of want to trust them because they do this extra stuff for open source and for like education and stuff.
Yeah. So something to add, at least for the free2z platform, two really good things that you should keep in mind. So on your profile, you can host like any type of link. Like, so if you're looking for donations to whatever cause or to support your project, you can include donation links like embedded within your profile. And I think the best feature is if you hit record on a call, you can literally close the browser window. You could turn off your PC and the recording will still be there. It's happened to me. I was recording a podcast, or if you're recording a workshop yourself, as long as you remember to hit record, you can be sure that the content will be available within your profile. Amazing.
That's really awesome. Yeah, I don't know if it was always like that, but like one of the big benefits, like free2z is definitely, it was created as like a way for people to make money, like for people to earn these Twosies and to do crowdfunding, to ask for donations. It has a real big user base of people who are using it for crowdfunding in all sorts of different ways. And so that's really cool, and that's still at the heart of it. But the this option to record, the option to live stream, all of this was added because people wanted to see it, and the fact that you can completely shut down your computer and the recording stays is really, really cool. So thanks, Skylar, for making that work. Roosevelt, Aura, I saw on free2z. I was just looking through Converse, which is the sort of social feed, and you don't have to scroll far before you come across a Zcast announcement. So, like, what's your take on free2z as users?
Ryan, I always say that one of the things that makes me to go deeper with Zcash was free2z because I'm a blogger. I really like to create content. When I discovered free2z was I don't know how to say in English, amor a primera vista, okay? And was amazing. And now, like Squirrel says about the ways to create streaming privates for subscribers, free pay-per-view, that public pay-per-view is very powerful. It's very powerful because, like you say, people can monetize that, monetize their content, create crowdfunding. Free2z is very powerful. I think it's very stable. Have a minimum fails with connection. Robmar knows that in a few moments it can fails, but is recommend for beginners. And I think that inside our ecosystem, our Zcash ecosystem, we have to support more free2z.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
me, it's a good tool for the content creators. If you are a content creator and you need to do simple, free2z is the way in the community, no?
Yeah, so our co-captains for our workshops program are definitely recommending free2z if you're just getting started in this. the recording is necessary. The recording is absolutely necessary for the workshop. So the free to Z option makes it so that you don't forget it, you don't lose it. You just have to remember to hit that button. So that's definitely a cool thing there. The different streaming options is super cool. The fact that like you can do private meetings. If you're going to do a private meeting, then like you can use free to Z to do it. I would suggest trying MiroTalk as well. Just because like the open source part where Dyte is not, but then you have these other options like the public broadcast, and the way that this works is that like people can join, they can join anonymously, they don't have to have a free to Z account, they can put a name in, whatever name they want to put in, and then you can invite them onto stage to speak. So I think it's like 6 or 8 people can be on stage at a time. This has to do with this limitation of servers. So the fact that there is no big server running that is taking all of the video streams in and sending them all out, that adds limitations. So the way that this is fixed in free to Z is that you have this stage, and for someone to turn on their camera and their microphone, you have to invite them onto stage. It's really great. It works really well for workshops and for community calls. Keeps people from like talking over each other. And if you have a bunch of anons watching, then you might want to have a bit of a gatekeeper.
And in fact, my workshop will be on free to Z.
Perfect. So on Monday, if you want to check out free to Z, you can tune in to Roosevelt's workshop. This will also be streamed, I believe, to YouTube. So if you don't want to log into free to Z or create an account, you can take a look at how it works when you're watching it from the YouTube side, from the stream side. Yeah, it's a really good option.
And the other option to free to see is the widget in the streaming interface is the widget to whiteboard, share documents, other plugins is very interest. Other option to free to see is IA, artificial intelligence, free. For to see token in the free to see is very low price. Other option to free to see is create to streaming for no limit for the content, free content, and you publicate in free to see, in Converse, in the other option to the different in the, for example, other platform to video streaming is the closest to streaming is for example music with copyright in free to see. No other platform to publicate content to adult in free to see. No publicate content to the politic, economic, other content. No problem. Free to see. No KYC, Roosevelt, KYC. No email. No email. To you private is priority to free to see, and the share to the publicate content for periodistas, to the journals, to the information for example, problem to Venezuela in free to see is free to content to the problems, to the politics, every, o sea, lo que sea, free to see is free to content.
On censorship.
On censorship, correct.
That's a really important point about this, about why use peer-to-peer and self-hosted calling apps. Is the censorship part of it. Like Discord, we've mentioned Discord a little bit, and Robmar just listed several types of content that will get your server on Discord completely deleted. If you run some copyright music, if you're screening some Hollywood movie on Discord, then their censors might catch it, and they will just take away your Discord server from you. So don't do that. And of course, there's all sorts of other kinds of censorship that happens on public the media, the social networks, and like YouTube, for example. So you can use free to Z. You can publish what you want. Once again, free is in free speech, not necessarily free as in free pizza, because it is a monetization platform, and that money is going to the creators. It's going to the people who publish. So you can use it to crowdfund your donation campaigns for any reason, really, and then you can actually monetize the content that's there. You can do that through these different live stream options, or you have a public option, and then you can actually spend the Twosies, their internal tokens. This isn't decentralized currency. This isn't a blockchain or anything. Twosies are just an internal credit system. So I'm going to see what happens if I try to start this stream, and y'all can see what that looks like. It's asking to use my camera, and if I give it my camera use, then that might break the Foundry live stream from my side. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to join, and we can see what the interface looks like. And there's like, I'm on the stage right now, so I can leave the stage. There's some different settings. There's a chat. You can do polls. I can create a poll. That's cool. The other options, I think that BigBlueButton has a poll option. Jitsi might. Miro doesn't. You can see different participants here, if they're viewers or if they are asking to come on stage, and then different plugins. So there's DocShare. Streamer lets you all like watch something together. So if you're watching something on YouTube, then you can stream it in and have a big watch party. So that's fun. Rustpad for coding, Excalidraw, and whiteboard. So there's some fun plugins there that other things don't have. I think like some have a whiteboard, but for live coding, this is really cool. This is a nice option.
Yeah, and the
Yeah, I think we
Squirrel, you.
I think we did a shared stream where we watched like a music video or something.
Nice.
Yeah. And the token and the 2C is swap for SEC. Only
Can you?
Yeah.
That's new. I wasn't aware of that. Awesome. I didn't realize that you could swap out the Twosies for Zcash. So another reason to go create a free to Z profile and monetize it and start making those Twosies.
Yeah.
For sure. If you are going to check out a workshop that's on free to Z, like if you're going to watch Roosevelt's workshop on Monday, or if you're going to host a workshop, it's important to note that the way that you tell people to join is to go to your profile page and then look for this little button here, which just previously was red, and then you can click on it and join the stream. Someone else can click on it and join the stream. So if you're not live, then the profile will say no live stream now, and it's gray little TV with a play button on it. But there is no actual link to join the calls. You have to go through the profile. So that's a little bit of it causes a little bit of trouble sometimes when you're promoting your stream. But if you're in contact with the people in your community, you can let them know when you're advertising, when you're promoting it.
Or Ryan, once we are start streaming, we can share the link on the URL in the browser, and people can go directly to the. If people have a free to see account, and depends on the type of broadcasting, people can go directly to the streaming.
Gotcha. Okay, that's good to know. So there are different ways to share. If you need any help with free to Z, then you can join the Zcash Discord, discord.gg/Zcash. And there are plenty of people there who would be more than happy to help take you through free to Z and getting started there. if you're having any kind of troubles. But it is very beginner friendly, I think, and it's a small project as far as developers go. It's just a handful of them, and it's been around for 3 or 4 years now. I think 4 years. So they're doing well, and I wish them luck. And I hope that Dyte open sources their stuff, although maybe there's alternatives. I really like what they're doing over there. So
Skylar mentioned that he opened the options to people collaborate on GitHub, and I don't know if totally open, but the tool Robmar, ¿cómo se llama la herramienta de streaming? Is a indie tool from India.
La de Free2C.
¿Cómo se llama?
Dyte.
Okay, Dyte. I don't know if Dyte is totally open source, but when we are inside Free2C, we follow the rules of Free2C, and like Robmar says, is on censorship.
Yeah. And the Free2C is the, for example, one kid, one baby, open to count in the Free2C. Oh, in the la Zcon 4 Roosevelt, Zcon 4, and the example is in live, in online, Skylar and the kid to the open account and the create account in Free2C.
Yeah, we've used it. We've used it for a lot of different things in the community. The different Zcash communities have used it a lot. It doesn't have the usership that I think that it deserves. So let's give it some more attention. And I look forward to that. So I just looked up Dyte open source, and I'm looking at Brave's AI answer here. It says that Dyte has open sourced several of its tools and resources. The Dyte device emulator, a toolkit for simulating various hardware states and events to test WebRTC applications, is available on GitHub. Additionally, Dyte has open sourced its documentation site, offers open source libraries, such as Dyte React Web Core Package. So we'd have to ask Skylar if the parts that he uses are open source, because it does seem like Dyte does a lot of work with open source communities. Is Dyte entirely open source? Let's find out. Because earlier I was seeing that it's not entirely open source. They open source specific components and projects. That's the same thing we were just reading. The core video conferencing platform and its primary service are not fully open source. Company maintains proprietary software and offers a paid service on participant minutes, based on participant minutes, recording minutes, and RTMP streaming minutes. So the part of their software that they sell as a service, it sounds like is not open source. That's pretty typical. But I would imagine that the software that Skylar's running on Free2Z is the open source components. Well, we need to get clarification on that though, definitely. As far as usability goes, definitely recommended for workshops. You have freedom to be able to do what you want there, and if you don't have 2Zs to create a live stream, then you can let us know. You can post out a call on your social networks. People will send you some 2Zs. I think you actually get some when you sign up, and then you can also do a live stream for like your subscribers only, and those don't cost anything.
Ryan, maybe we have to invite Skylar from one session here in Foundry to talk about that.
Absolutely, yeah. That could be a very cool thing to have for the end of our end of year final session of Foundry. I think it would be cool to have Skylar talk about the live streaming part. And just Free2Z for creators. There's definitely a large creator fan base, a big audience of creative people who are using Free to Z. So that's a really good idea, Roosevelt.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And the word is Skylar for Zoom. Whoa. Is the word.
Yeah.
In the fight.
Yeah.
Skylar is very fanatic to the open source, to the decentralized, to the private. And the Skylar, wow, is only for name Zoom. Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. This call is for Skylar and the people like him, which I consider myself to be a part of that group. So it's really cool to have Free to Z in the Zcash ecosystem, and that it has all of these other things. Skylar's the one who put it all together, so Skylar is definitely an active part of ZKAV Club. Since the beginning. I was doing work with him on this live streaming stuff, and he continues to improve it, improve the services that Free to Z has to offer.
Yeah.
So
Ahí
very cool.
lo voy a decir en español, Roosevelt, hazme la vuelta. Yo considero que deberíamos llamar a toda la comunidad y a todo el ecosistema Zcash a darle el apoyo que se merece Free2C como herramienta de uso de nosotros, empezando por nosotros y por supuesto ya otros ecosistemas que aprovechen la oportunidad, pero nosotros deberíamos ser los primeros que tenemos que apoyarlos.
Robmar says that we from ZKAV Club and the whole community must support more Free2C on all the spaces. I know that SecHub support Free2C, but the communities by Zcash Community Grants, Zcash Foundation use Free2C. If more Zcash community members looks like what we are using Free2C is a good message to all that is our platform, is our tool.
Yeah, it's a very powerful message, and we definitely we need to support more user using of it, and developers too. Like we could really use some developers on the back end of Free to Z, so that Skylar's not doing all of the work. We have some front end developers over there that come from the different Zcash communities too. So big supporter of open source, and plenty of ways to contribute there, for sure. And one of the ways to contribute is just to promote it. So definitely get over to Free to Z and make an account. Free2Z.com, free2Z.cash are the two different domains that will work. And it will probably always be at least two. It's been a long discussion, but you can check that out. You can do your workshops there. And hopefully we'll be hearing more from Skylar in the near future, and more about Free to Z. And don't miss Roosevelt's workshop on Monday.
Yeah.
You can check that out on Free to Z. That's probably the best way to figure out how Free to Z works, is to go to Free to Z, look for Gordonas TV, and you can check the live stream happening. While it's happening, you can interact. You don't have to create an account, unless are you doing yours for subscribers only, Roosevelt?
I have Robmar knows that I have a cheaper subscription price, but it's for subscriber because I think that people needs to understand that is very, very cheaper. Free2Z is the price of my subscription. Free2Z is less than, I don't know, 5 cents. Okay, it's very, very cheaper, and I think that is a way to teach the people that you can monetize with a workshop, with a streaming, with I don't know what the content you want to post to do on Free2Z, and Free2Z is nothing, practically nothing, and people, most of the members in the Zcash community in Spanish have to see, and if they don't have, I can send some to see.
Yeah, 5 Twosies is the cheapest that I've seen, the cheapest subscription amount that I've seen. I think the default, I can't remember if there is a default, but mine is set, the ZKAV Club account is, the subscription is set to 10 Twosies. A while back, I think before ZCon 4, so a little more than 2 years ago, I had posted on X that anyone who posts their free to Z profile, I would subscribe to. So I subscribed to a lot of them. Most of them are around 100 Twosies. These are not like $1 per Twosie. It's much less than that. So they're micropayments, which is pretty cool. Like micropayments was one of the things that we were kind of promised with cryptocurrencies and never really panned out because of transaction fees. So this is micropayments working. And if you share your free to Z profile around on social networks and tag ZKAV Club, tag Zcash, tag Zuko, you know, like these things will get passed around and people will subscribe to you and you can get inflow of money that will enable you to do these live streams if you want to.
Yeah, totally. That's not my normally price because my price is 500 to Cs, but 500 to Cs is like $5 per month. It's nothing. It's very cheaper. And the one this future of subscriptions, I don't know any other tools that we mentioned today that have this feature. It's very powerful.
Yeah, it is. And I don't know many other cryptocurrency ecosystems or projects that have something like this. Not to this extent. Like the fact that this is like a blogging platform, it's part social network. You can use I think it's Dolly that's installed on there. Some AI stuff that's installed. The live streaming stuff. You get your own profile with all of your blog links there. It's really, really powerful. So I'm looking at Twosies. Each Twosie you will learn will also get you an income of 0.01, so one US cent.
Yeah, I just checked the conversion rate. 0.5 ZEC for 1,000 Twosies is about 0.12 USD.
Yeah. So yeah, 12 cents for like 1,000 of them. Yeah, it's and you can do all sorts of stuff with it. You can comment, you can upvote, page boosting. You can do AI prompts. So like you can, like Squirrel said, you buy these Twosies with Zcash. So there's total anonymity and privacy there. And then you have the Twosies and you can use that to boost pages. You can use that to prompt the AI. So really, like if you don't want to get an OpenAI Chat GPT subscription, with this you can pay per prompt and you can pay anonymously. So private AI, that's a cool thing. That's pretty neat and cheap. And yeah, you can join for free. When you join, you get some, I think like, oh, here, new accounts are granted 33 complimentary Twosies. So you can get in, create some content, get some tips, get some upvotes, earn some Twosies, tell people what you're doing, get people to donate more to you. If you tell us that you want to do a workshop and you want to do it on Free to Z, then chances are we can get you some Twosies to be able to do that. So definitely keep that in mind and support the Zcash ecosystem in that way. So we have we've gone over Free to Z now as one of the options, like that we covered a lot with MiroTalk, with Jitsi, VDO.Ninja, BigBlueButton, all these different options that you can use to have private calls and private workshop sessions, or public workshop sessions in a bigger scale if you want to. If you really want to nerd out, you can install your own. And if you want to start with the simple and private option, then you can go with Free to Z. And this is it's all to help you to create the workshops that that will spread the word of what we're talking about. So like we didn't do any demos today of any of this software because that is what we want you to do. This is where the workshop program comes into action. This is where it comes into play. is that we want you to help us to do workshops on the topics that we're talking about, using the tools that we're talking about and the techniques. And in the case of today's session, you can do a workshop on MiroTalk, on how to do a workshop with MiroTalk, how to do a call with MiroTalk. Same with Jitsi. If you want to do a workshop on how to set up Jitsi on your own server, that would be really cool. You can do all of these in any language that you are comfortable with. We do not need the workshops to all be in English. It's actually better if you're using your favorite language, the language of your community. So we encourage you to do that and contact us, sign up for a workshop. There are tons of different options. Like we started this season of Foundry with restreaming using Open Broadcaster, or just using a Chromium-based browser like Brave. You can just share the tab into into VDO.Ninja or into MiroTalk, any of these WebRTC video calling platforms. You can just share another tab in Brave and attach the audio to that tab. So if I wanted to play a video for you all right now with the screen share option, it would actually include the sound right away, which like we've all seen presentations where that goes wrong. So it's a really cool and simple workshop to do with the restreaming. Live transcription and translation is a project we've been working on since the beginning of ZK AV Club about a little over 2.5 years ago, and it's come a long way. You can check out the old session of Foundry, that I believe is Foundry number 2, and we've also talked about it in other places. We used this, Robmar used this in ZCon 4. We had several people activating the translation, the live translation of the streams during ZCon V and ZCon 6. And we've taken this to live venues, to live events at DWeb Camp in Brazil. John did a presentation of how to do in-person live translation from English into Portuguese using the self-install or the locally hosted running on your own computer version of Whisper Real-Time is what it's called. At the transcription workshop, I won't be getting into the live translation. This is something that you can do a workshop on now, the live translation stuff. Transcription is more about using a recorded file, whether it's video or just audio, and getting a transcription from that. So we haven't gone into detail on that yet, but the live translation transcription stuff we have gone into detail on, and you can find workshops on that in Spanish. We talked about it in Foundry. So workshop production as well, like this is where the tools that we talked about today really come in. You can do a workshop teaching your community how you do the workshops, how you do these calls, how to host a call on Free to Z, how to install Jitsi. We also, I did a workshop on archive.org command line interface. This is because I've done a workshop on it. Anything that the Foundry team has created a workshop on or talked about in Foundry, this is all fair game for the workshops. So the command line interface for Internet Archive, it's a really powerful tool, and definitely we encourage that. Video editing, clip editing, basic video editing, the stuff that Roosevelt will be talking about on Monday. We'd love to have workshops on that in all sorts of different languages, from all sorts of different communities as well. The do-it-yourself recording station, this is a big workshop. The recording stations we talked about in Foundry number 7, I think it was, after we did the Berlin Blockchain Week recording station. And maybe we'll have some behind-the-scenes stuff of our dark Prague recording station that can fuel a workshop. I have heard, I spoke with someone who was talking about doing a workshop on their local meetup live streams that they do. So that's cool. The broadcasting and live streaming, if you do live streaming of a local meetup, this is how I got my start in all of this audio visual stuff outside of university, but I was live streaming the San Francisco Bitcoin meetup and other things like it. If you do that in your community, if you're live streaming Zcash meetups or Ethereum meetups or whatever it is, then you can explain to people and have a workshop based on that and explaining your setup and everything. I would love to hear it, and I'm sure some other people like to know how you do it so they can do it in their own communities. That's the reason for the workshops. That's why we're doing what we're doing. Audio production and post-production. If you do any of that, like, we would love to see a workshop showing people how you do it and getting some feedback from some other people who do it, because it's really important that videos that are released after being recorded have real nice, clean audio. And then anything we talked about today, the open source calling apps. Like I said before, if you want to do a workshop and show people how to set up a call in Free2Z, in MiroTalk, or set up a Jitsi server, set up a Jibri server, or BigBlueButton, we'd love to see these workshops as well. And that's it. That's Foundry. That's Foundry number 8. So I'm really happy that this team joined. I'm really happy that we finally had a chance to dive into the tools that we use to create Foundry, and the tools that we use to organize all of our communities. I think any community organizer, any community coordinator is using tools like this, and could benefit from using the open source and peer-to-peer versions. So final thoughts?
Okay, Ryan, and the comment, one comment to the ZK Radio, use to the tools open source for transmission, for programs in live and online, to program to Roosevelt, program to Jodita, program the Aura and the other user stuff to ZK Radio. If to the transmission in live peer-to-peer, I create el talk in the MiroTalk and the Free2Z. First programs to Roosevelt is Free2Z, to the redirect audio to the radio, ZK Radio. In the future, tools to the users in the programs ZK Radio, only open source, only private, only secure.
Awesome. ZK Radio. What is the URL for ZK Radio now, Robmar?
zkSquirrel.com / ZK Radio. Yeah, one moment. Use to the chat.
ZK Radio is a service that Robmar operates, that he created with Zcash in Espanol. And gotcha. He just posted I'll post this in the signal in the YouTube chat here. So you can go to Zcash ESP, as in Zcash in Espanol.com /ZK-radio. And you can listen to the different programs, the different music and talk shows that Robmar broadcasts there, him and the Zcash in Espanol team and community. And they are, like he said, they're using all open source software for this and routing the signal out to different places. It's really, really cool. It definitely makes me happy to know that there are contemporary versions of pirate radio happening, and it's community radio. You know, we don't have to call it pirate radio, it's community radio. The airwaves used to be free, and the internet is not so much anymore. So we're really happy to be exploring the possibilities and the different ways that we can embrace this freedom-loving technology. And it's so much fun.
Yeah. Is the funny? Oh.
So we have some upcoming announcements that I want to make before we take off here. Final closing things, of course, like subscribe to us, follow us. We're on YouTube, ZKAV_club. We're on X, ZKAV_club. We're on Mastodon, although there's a shift happening in the server situation for our account there. So I don't know exactly where to point you for that right now. We're on Blue Sky, bsky.app, ZKAV Club. You can find us there. And we will have Foundry number 9 next in October. It's October 17th. And this is how to produce your own virtual conference or online meetup using all open source stuff. I can't necessarily say open source peer-to-peer because like the endpoints may or may not be peer-to-peer that we'll talk about, but it's an extension of what we talked about today, and that the extended part of it is really about broadcasting out of your call to the world. So like these options are there. You can broadcast out from Zoom to YouTube, for example. But this is actually how most virtual conferences happen, and it's been the case since virtual conferences kind of came into existence, and it's depressing. So I want to see it fixed, and I want to help fix it. And there are much better options, and we're going to walk you through them. We're going to take you to the next level of what we discussed today. And we'll tell you how to broadcast your message out to the world, how to make it look nice. OBS is open source. There's tons of tutorials of OBS, so we won't necessarily be going into that in Foundry, but we will be talking about the workflow of how you can use open source tools to produce an end-to-end open source free virtual conference or meetup. I'm super excited about this one. It's a little bit more obscure than the talk we had today. The talk we had today can be used for family calls. It can be used for your business meetings. It can be used for your community calls or your buddies. That's all good, and it's super important. The next step is really about production, and it's really close to my heart. So I'm excited about that. That's October 17th. The following one in November is decentralized media, storage, streaming, and sharing. And this is, again, we're going to be focusing on open source and decentralized distributed peer-to-peer technologies. BitTorrent will likely come up. BitTorrent is one of the beginnings of this technology, the decentralized media technology that we'll talk about. IPFS will definitely come up. Filecoin. We'll probably cover live peer more in the session before about virtual conferences, but the decentralized media session of Foundry, there's a lot to talk about there, and this is going to take a little bit of more research on all of our parts because there's a lot happening in that space. That's November 14th, and then we are planning something special for the December for the final session of Foundry. It'll be Foundry number 11. And that is the final session for the year. It's the final session for the Zcash Community Grants approved, the grant that we got approved. So who knows what will happen after, and we're going to go out with a bang. We're making some big plans, and we'll see if we can pull it off. And I'll give you a little hint that it involves everything we've talked about this year in Foundry. So yeah, we're going to go big. So thank you all for joining. And any final words from our panel here?
It's awesome. It's awesome to be here with you, Ryan. Every session is very fun. We learn a lot. Thank you for the invitation to be co-captains, and we are going to work hard this month for the workshops and for the whole community.
Yeah, it was great to join. Everyone check out the zkAV Luma calendar. There's going to be all the events coming up over there.
Good shout out, Squirrel, to the calendar. Yeah, luma.com/zkAV club, just zkAV, luma.com/zkAV. And we've added some workshops on, and all of the new workshops will be announced there. We're going to be announcing the upcoming sessions of Foundry soon as well. So subscribe, follow. Thanks again for watching. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
See you.
Bye.
Okay, cool. We're out. We are done. Thank you very much. Muchas gracias.